Hey everyone, it's Megan. I just got back from seeing Paranormal Activity 3. All I have to say is y'all need to go see this movie because it is really good. I know what you're thinking. If you saw the first one or the second one, they weren't so good, but this one was pretty good. You can go see this. People was screaming in there. People was, everybody wanted to know what happened next. It was good. So y'all need to go see that. But I guess the real reason why I'm doing this video is because there's this YouTube survey that people are doing, and I just thought that, hey, might as well I'd just do it too. So the first question is, tell us about your first kiss. Well, considering that I'm bisexual, I guess I'll tell you about my first kiss with a guy and with a girl. My first kiss with a guy, well, I was probably a junior in high school because I was probably 16, and I mean, it wasn't a bad kiss, but it was just unexpected. Because see, here's what happened. When you're in a relationship, some guys like to carry their girl's purse for them or stuff like that. They'll carry stuff. So we're walking to class. He's carrying my backpack. Being a gentleman, whatever. Yeah, that's nice. And he gives me my stuff. I give him a hug. And I'm about to walk into the classroom. So I'm in the doorway, and he grabs me and then plants one right on my lips in front of the doorway, where everybody can see. People are sitting in their desk just staring. People are looking at us and so it's not like I was embarrassed to be with him. That wasn't what I was, I just don't like PDA in general. Okay, I think that's just rude. That's disrespectful. I think your relationship stuff should stay in your home or with each other, but not in the public school area. Okay, that's just how I feel. I mean, I know how it feels to be the girl that's looking at the person sucking face in front of my locker when I'm trying to get my stuff out. Really? Y'all couldn't wait till you got on the bus or got home? So, not only am I embarrassed because he's kissing me, because I don't like showing my affection to other people, but also it was just unexpected. We never kissed before, and you're going to kiss me for our first kiss in the school in front of everybody, including my teacher. Really? And it's funny because I'm still friends with him, so I tell people all the time about our first kiss, and he just laughs about it. Now, I mean, we were young, we were stupid, we didn't know what was proper and what wasn't proper, whatever. But my first kiss with a girl was totally different. You see, I was going on a date with this girl at the time, and I was a sophomore in high school. Because I remember, because I kissed her before I kissed him. So what happened was, I was on this date, and we didn't have cars at the time, so we would walk to our dates, because I didn't want my mom to be coming to pick me up and drop me off. I mean, that's lame. We just wanted to walk. So we were walking back, it was probably around midnight-ish or whatever, so we're walking. And she holds my hand because my street has one street light, so it's dark. We didn't want to lose each other. Seriously, it was nighttime. We could not see anything. There was no street lights, nothing. And my house is in the middle of voodoo nowhere. So we're walking back, and we finally hit to my house, and then she was like, so, did you have a good time, blah, blah. I'm like, well, yeah, I did, you're a nice girl, blah, blah. And we just had that moment where it's you look into each other's eyes and you just know you want to kiss each other, so, you just do. So, and it was the perfect night. We had, the full moon, the crickets be chirping, the stars be shining, it was just crazy. And, it was pretty much the best kiss I've ever had so far by any girl. And, I mean, I don't talk to this girl no more, but she did make my first kiss memorable, so I have to give her props for that. Number 2, what is the most expensive casual item of clothing you have ever bought? I would have to say shoes, because the shoes that I need like the extra support, type of shoes, like, and those can get pretty expensive. So, like I need like that New Balance stuff, because like my feet just be hurting all the time. So I need to get like that extra support. So it's got to be like up in the high range. Number 3, what was the first job you ever wanted as a kid? I would have to say that, I wanted, since I was always playing with doctor stuff, like I had like, little kids, like, what is that, scope thing or whatever, and I had like, like this little fake doctor kit, so I'd always be playing with that, and then I would be like doing it on my Beanie Babies, like I had like little cat Beanie Babies, so like I kind of wanted to be like a doctor, like veterinarian type of thing. But once I got older, that changed right away, because I noticed that you have to be dealing with blood, and I don't deal with that. I mean, I can't even have people take my blood, so that right there is no blood, and no more, none of this getting sick stuff. Because if somebody was going to be vomiting in my doctor office, no, you can go clean that up, because I got a sensitive stomach, and I can't be cleaning that. So I noticed that once I got older, I was just going to be like, no. So I just chose to be a teacher, even though being a teacher could have its ups and downs too, since kids do have that. Yeah, y'all get the point. But number 4, tell us about your group of friends in school. Okay, so when I was younger, I had that, that one friend you would always be hanging with, but once you got into like high school, you get to that like stereotype, type of stuff. So when I got to high school, I was labeled more as like a jock, because I always wanted to be trying out for sports. I was in tennis, I was in basketball, and I was in softball. So like I got grouped like right away into like the jock area, and like all the jocks ate with each other, and like, you get it, it's stereotypes. So, but there was this one class in particular that, I didn't feel like I was being stereotyped, because we were all just one group, and that was in choir. Yeah, and I sing. So if you ever want to hear me sing, just ask me or whatever. Maybe I might make a video or whatever. But the point is that I made my own group of friends because I didn't agree with everything that my jock friends only had to say. I wanted to make friends based off my values, not just based off stuff I like. So choir helped me realize that, like, you could be different and still like the same stuff. You don't have to be a jock just to be friends with a person. It makes no kind of sense. So, like, me and my friends were all different, from different stereotypical groups. So we were just like our own group. We were just there. And some of the people in our school hated that because we were different. They were like, why don't you just stick to your own stereotypical, group? I'm like, because we don't feel like it. We'll just make our own group. We felt that we wasn't going to fit in with just our certain groups. Like, we want to be our own group. Like, and see, that's when, my school was just bad. But, we got through it, and I'm still friends with these girls, so it was just nice, to just make my own group and make my own friends based off just what I believed in, and what, it wasn't just based off stuff I liked. It was just also, like, values, like, you know what I'm saying. Next question is, what would you name your kids? For a girl's name, I have to say Jessica. Jessica's one of my favorite girl names. And number 2 would be Bridget. That's none of my other favorite girl names. For a boy, I would say Alex. And I would have to say Jared. Alex, mostly because it could either be a guy's or a girl's name. You know what I'm saying? You know, Alex, Alexandra. And Jared, basically Jared was my next door neighbor when I was growing up, and I always had this big crush on him. But I also, it's not just because I want to name him after him, but it's also because I also like that name. You know, don't get no ideas. Be like, oh, you know, he gonna be your secret baby daddy. No, that's not what's gonna happen. But you know, you just like certain names just because you just don't like the way they roll off your tongue. Like, I don't know, Nicolette. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just like certain names. So those are my two names that that I'm like in between, what I want to name. But if my significant other wants to put any other names up, go for it. We can talk, we can discuss, but I ain't gonna have no babies anytime soon. So y'all can appreciate that. And the last question is, who do you want to do the survey next? Well, I want Lady Gaga or maybe Kesha do the next, but that probably ain't gonna happen. So, but whoever wants to do it, can do it. Wouldn't it be interesting for Kesha to do it? I mean, what does Kesha want to tell us about her first kiss? But can she even remember her first kiss? And what does Kesha want to name her babies? Freesia? Or Uniqua? Or something with a $sign? I don't know. But, I don't know. That's all I gotta say about it. Peace out.